Did you get a copy with the 3D printed cards?
Huh?
Cars. No, you're just cardboard.
What are you talking about?
Monsters on Board.
Cardboard. You said it was the deluxe edition.
I don't think it is. Let's look.
No, because there's no cars. I got gypped.
Yeah, just look, because it's going to bug me.
Okay, Jeffy, I'll look. This sweater smells. Whatever, Cheddar. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Foster the Meeple, a channel all about
board games.
And
more board gamey things.
Exactly. Always more board gamey thing-ma-boppers. We are here today to do another episode of Board Game Snapshots.
Baja! Baja!
In this series, we discussed 5 different board games in mini review formats. Most of these games, I think 1, 2, 3 of the 5 games we're talking about today were selected from our Patreon community. So thank you so much to the community for choosing these games. I have to say, I am not at all surprised by the ones you picked. So without any more nonsense,
and no more ado,
which apparently means nonsense. Somebody in our Discord said that if you say without further ado, it went into this whole thing about ado is like
A-D-I-E,
like,
right?
No, A-D-O is like nonsense. No. Yes, without further ado, A-D-O.
Googling it.
They put it. I just read a whole article on it. What's that, Jeff? No, what's the first one, Jeff?
Underneath. Ha! It's the same.
It doesn't matter. I was right. It just means like everything you said in before that was just pointless and silly.
No, it's more.
So I guess
it is
kind of. I guess it is kind of appropriate.
Without any more fuss or delay.
Then we should say without further ado, because literally all we do is
without
fuss.
further ado.
All we do is fuss and delay.
Ado. I would like you to admit that I was also right.
But I was more right. At the end of this video, we are going to be announcing our giveaway winner for Parks, which we did forever ago. So we're going to announce the winner today. Did you want to do another giveaway today?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do another giveaway today. What game do you want to give away? 1 second, I'm going to go get it.
Thank you again to a Discord member who has gifted most of these. We still have 1 more of theirs to give away.
Yes.
At some point in the future. So thank you to them. They wish to remain anonymous, but we appreciate you very much.
It's Batman. Now, what game would you like to start with, Jeffrey? This one?
Sure.
Okay, we are going to start with a review copy that we were sent, actually. And that is Wildstyle from Pandasaurus Games. Wildstyle was designed by Peter Ridgway. Just FYI.
And thank you to Pandasaurus for giving us an opportunity to show this to you.
Thank you, Pandasaurus. Wildstyle is a new game coming soon to Pandasaurus. You can pre-order it on their website. So you can't buy it yet, but you can pre-order it. This is a real-time game all about tagging, aka spray painting, the city. Yep. And you're trying to like spray paint out different locations and areas to build yourself out, like kind of like a turf, like a territory.
Yeah, it's almost like real-time area control-ish.
Yeah. And so you're trying to get the biggest area and get multiple areas. You're trying to cut other people off, and you're trying to tag certain different locations like maybe parks or train stations or police stations or railways, etc. And each of those locations score differently. So a park is worth 3 points, where a railway is only worth 1 point.
Police stations worth a lot of points because they're difficult to spray paint, as a police station would be.
Yeah.
There's like less police station cards in the deck.
Yes.
In order to pull out, so...
Exactly, yeah. And we are not condoning spray painting police stations, but in this game you should do it because it's very lucrative.
Do it in Wildstyle all you want.
All you want. Now, how this game works, like we said, it's a real-time game, so you're going to have a hand of 3 cards. And you have to choose 2 different locations that you're working towards tagging. You're going to be looking at your cards, be like, hey, I'm going to pick parks, and I'm going to pick railways, just because those are the only 2 I can think of right now. So when you do that, then you're going to be grabbing from different piles and adding to your hand. If you don't have a park or a railway, you can't lay it down. So you're going to have to lay it onto one of the other piles and then grab a new card. On the discard, it's also interesting because if there's a park in a discard, you can discard your park on top of there. Or if it's the same color. But if it's not, then you can't. And you have to wait for an opportunity to discard that card. You can only use 1 hand. I did cheat. There was one time where I did cheat.
I'm pretty sure I did too.
I'm pretty sure we all did. And once you get 3 cards on those stacks, then you can tag the item, and then you can start doing another location. And it is chaos, and it is so much fun.
Yeah, that description sounded like chaos.
because that's what it is. Like, in the moment, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm looking for parks. There's no parks here, and I can't get rid of my cards, and oh my gosh, Jeff just put down a park, so I gotta grab that, but I can't grab that until I get rid of the cards in my hand. And then once you do, and you have 3, then you get to tag the place, and you have to be like, oh my gosh, I also need to think there's also objectives. So maybe I need to try to be looking at the borders. Oh, did I put that down a border? If you have a single tag,
no one's going to understand any of this.
If you have a single tag, guess what? It's gone. It's gone. I just wanted to give you the vibe.
Yeah, that's definitely the vibe.
Yeah.
Can I just slow things down 1 second?
I guess.
So ultimately, when you play down a card and you get 3 of the same, like let's say you get 3 parks, you then put a little token out on a park, which is this massive city grid.
Yeah.
Because that place has been tagged. And ultimately what you're trying to do is build like clusters or rows depending on the objectives of your tokens on the map. Cool thing is you can get blocked off. So if I had 1 sole token out on the board, you don't want 1 single token.
No.
Doesn't do anything for you. So other players can surround that and then you're screwed because you can't build out from that 1 token. And that's basically the game.
Yeah. And we played this with Tyler and Ilya from Cavre. So we've played it at a 4-player count. We haven't played it at 2 players yet, but definitely interested to see. Like I said, it's a real-time game, and that is generally not our jam. It can be overwhelming and stressful, but I will say that this is probably my favorite real-time game that we've ever played.
This has been my favorite real-time game I've ever played.
So if you're interested in checking out Wildstyle, you can definitely do so. I'll leave the link below to the Pandasaur site where you can pre-order it. So I believe it should be coming out retail soon. But overall, we had a butt-ton of fun.
I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
Really enjoyed it. So much so we played it like immediately as soon as we finished the first game. We're like, let's go again.
Yep.
So good times. That is Wildstyle.
Next up, we have a small box 2-player dueling game called Wizards of the Grimoire. And this was sent to us from Grimoire Games, so thank you to them for sending it. In Wizards of the Grimoire, you are basically playing as 2, I think it's like Archmage proteges. So the Archmage has died, you're playing as 2 proteges, the winner takes over. The winner becomes a new Archmage.
I love it.
Ultimately, this is a very simple introduction, I think, into dueling games, card dueling games. You're battling each other. First person to lose all of their health loses. Think along the lines of Shards of Infinity, even Star Realms to some degree. Yeah. Easier to table, an easier introduction into those types of games. I think the production is incredible. The box is literally a grimoire, which is really cool. The artwork on the cards is really, really good. In the game, you are playing out spells. So you're allowed to have 6 spells in front of you. So you have spells and you have mana. And the mana comes in 1, 2, 3, and 4, I believe. But the mana level doesn't matter. It's all about how many cards you play on it. So if your spell has 5 spell cost, you'd actually have to play 5 cards on it in order to trigger the ability to attack your opponent. But then at the end, you can always do a basic attack, which is the printed number on the card. So let's just say I had 6 cards in my hand, 6 mana cards. I played 5 downs to cast a spell. It does damage to Jamie. And then with my last action, I can do a basic attack. Let's say I had a 4 mana card, I would discard that 4 mana card and do 4 more basic damage to Jamie. It's really just a battle back and forth, building out a little bit of combos of spells. The really cool thing is there's a cooldown on all the spells. So if I put 3 cards on a mana spell, at the beginning of each round, I'm going to discard or remove the mana from the spell, and the higher casting cost of those spells have a longer cooldown, if that makes sense. And then once the cooldown is complete and all the cards are off that spell, you can then cast it again.
Use it again.
I think it'd be a really good travel game. And doesn't take up a lot of space if you don't want it to.
Another really cool thing about this is every single spell card in this box is different.
Yeah, and there's no shortage of them.
There's a bunch, and they're all different. It also did come with a little expansion, which we haven't played with yet, but it just adds more spell cards. So I really loved it. I love the artwork. It's super fun, and like Jeff said, a fantastic travel game. The one thing that we noticed while playing is that there's not a lot of ways to defend yourself, and I kind of wish that there were maybe some spell cards that gave off more defense.
It's possible they're in there. We just haven't got to them.
Like, as an example, in our last game, I had a card out that allowed me to hit Jeff for 7 damage, and he could do nothing about it. So I was just like pinging him because it was only 3 cards cooldown. So every 3 turns, I was pinging him for more damage. This was on Kickstarter before and has fulfilled now, I believe. So you should be be able to go to the Wizards of Grimoire website to check this out, and we'll make sure to link that below. The next game that we have was voted on by our Patreon community and is going to completely cover me. And can you hear me? It's Wonderlands War, and this is from Druid City Games and Skybound Games.
Skybound Tabletop.
Skybound Tabletop. I am going to move it right there. Now, this is a game that I have been so excited for a very long time. We missed the Kickstarter because we're dummies. And then they opened up this magical vault, and Jeff waited as soon as the vault opened, and he was able to get one of the Kickstarter Deluxe editions. And it is probably one of my, I actually think this might be my favorite game in terms of the way that it looks.
I just want to caveat quickly. I want to thank James Hudson.
who Jeff pestered for
I don't know
months.
if you'll ever watch this video, but I was pinging James on Twitter being like, hey, when are these going to be available? And like James was super nice and very kind and patient with me to be like, it's coming. So thank you, James.
It's because Jeff knew how badly I wanted this
I really
game.
wanted Jamie to get a copy, so
Yes.
thanks, James, for being so understanding.
This game has a bag building element, but it also has like a battle war element, which is really unique and very, very cool. Now, obviously, the theme is Alice in Wonderland. So in this game, you can choose to be one of quite a few characters. You could be the Cheshire Cat, you could be Alice, you could be the Queen of Hearts, you could be the Jabberwocky, and you could be the Mad Hatter. We've played this with Tyler and Ilya from Kavre. I played as the Cheshire Cat, Jeff played as a Jabberwocky, Tyler played as the Queen of Hearts, and Ilya played as the Mad Hatter. So each of those characters have some asymmetric abilities on their player boards. Essentially, it's a bag builder. You're building out your bag with different chips that you are winning during a phase of the round where you are actually going around a little card rondel and picking up different cards that are going to give you special things. So maybe they're giving you more chips to add to your bag. Maybe they're giving you an ally card. Maybe they're giving you ways to remove shards from your board. So that is the first phase. You're kind of building up your bag. The second phase is you go into battle phase, and you are battling over different territories of Wonderland. So that phase is super duper fun because what you're doing is, let's just say Jeff and I, it could be 2 players in one land, it could be 3, it could be 4. So let's say Jeff and I are in one of the lands. We are going to be pulling chips out of our bag, laying them down onto our player board, hoping that we don't bust, to see who is going to get to the top of the battle track first or who is going to bust or stop first.
Because you can always stop. You know, like if your bag's getting low or you're close to busting, you'd be like, all right, I'm good. And then it just comes down to whoever's highest on the battle track.
Yes. Now, in your bag, there's also chips called Madness tokens. That's how you bust. And you lose that battle, and that sucks. Because this is definitely that push your luck element that somebody always likes to try to push his luck. And then...
I don't think it was that bad for me.
Actually, it was worse for Tyler.
There was one battle that I pulled. I had a bag full of these beauty chips.
Yeah.
And I think I pulled 3 of the bad ones in a row. And I'm like, there's only like 3 in the bag.
And the other cool element of the battle in this game is that if you're not part of the battle, you actually get to bid on who you think is going to win the battle. And if you're right, you get to add another chip to your bag. But if you're wrong, you have to add a Madness token.
You don't have to bid.
You don't have to bid, but it is a way to kind of keep yourself engaged in the game when it's not your turn.
I really liked that. I really like when games purposely try to involve everyone in everything that's going on, so there's not a lot of downtime for players.
This game, I love. I love this game. I love everything about it. I love the gameplay. I love the production. I love the miniatures. I love the theme. I love the way this box looks. I love the bags. Everything. I love it. How do you feel?
It's really lived up to the hype for me.
It has.
Which is shocking because it's gotten a lot of hype in our gaming circle, in our Discord.
Yeah, because my brother Jason and my niece, they play it and they love it.
Bag builders are not my thing. I've mentioned on this channel numerous times that Quacks of Quedlingburg is a game that I will avoid playing because I just have terrible luck.
Cherry Bomb City.
But I absolutely adored this game. I'm having conversations with people about where this would possibly land at the end of the year for me, and I think it's going to be very high. I want to play it more. It's beautiful, and I loved the battle mechanic.
Yeah.
I loved that they turned a bag builder into like basically you're building out an army. I cannot say enough good things. There's not many games that I would have nothing negative or nothing. We have to play it more, of course.
We have to play it more, We're riding the high of this game right now.
Keep that in mind. Keep that bias in mind. Recency bias, all of those things.
Yes.
I'm sure as we play it more, we will notice little things.
Yeah. I'd like to play it today. Can we play it today?
But Yes. It delivered on all the promises that I hoped it would deliver on.
Obsessed. Literally love it so much. Okay, that is Wonderlands War.
Next up, we have one that has been on the
Shelf of shame.
Shelf of shame.
Not
that long, but a lot of people have been like, can you please just finally play that game? And we did.
We did. We played it twice.
That's Kanban EV. This is from Eagle Griffin Games, and it is our first ever Lacerda game.
Yes.
I'm going to put it down because it's massive, or maybe
Here,
I'll just...
let's maybe put
It's
it
also very heavy because...
like this.
Thank you to a Discord member for gifting us the metal cars and the expansion to this game. Kanban EV, it's a very systematic worker placement game where you have one worker, and you are placing that worker in different areas of a factory floor in order to produce cars. In this game, it's very straightforward. You want to build out designs with car parts in order to build a car to put out onto the test track and then eventually back into your garage. Mm-hmm. That's it.
You're getting managed.
And you're getting managed by
Sandra.
She is the worst.
She's a hard ass.
Sandra is ripping around this factory being like, are you
do this
certified?
right.
Are you good enough? Because in this game, you're building out your skills. You're building up your skills in order to be certified, to be better at certain actions on the board. And if you don't get certified, Sandra's going to punish you.
Yep.
Because you're not good enough at the thing you're trying to do.
She's
so
just
Sandra's ripping around, following you on this factory floor, and punishing you for not being good enough.
Yeah.
It's very good. Our first Lacerda experience, I can attest, has been incredible.
Yes. I think this is the right one to start with.
It's so smooth. It's so cutthroat with Sandra being involved. There's a ton of nuance in this game. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to say that this is an easy game to table. But what I will say is if you can get over the hurdle and someone can figure out all the little nuances of how things score and how things are actioned,
yep.
It's very simplistic in terms of what you do on your turn.
Yes.
I think this is an accessible Lacerda for a lot of people. Mm-hmm. I think that a lot of people see Lacerda and they're like, no, I'm not ready for that.
Yes,
and we did that for a long time.
Yeah.
And after playing this, I wish we had dived into it earlier.
I think with this one, it's it's not an easy Lacerda, but it's an easier one because everything you're doing just makes sense thematically. Yes, I need to collect car parts for when I have to go build my cars. And then obviously you need to test drive the cars. And before you even get the car parts, you have to have a design. So everything kind of makes sense.
Mm-hmm. There's a flow.
Yes. And it works so well. We played it at 4 players. Excellent. We played it at 2 players. Excellent. At 2 players, it is much more punishing because Sandy is coming for you. I love this game. I watched how to play on this game and I loved it then, and after playing it, it just only makes me love it more. So I'm excited to continue to play this and to continue to show it more people.
I was very impressed. I was very impressed that the 2-player play of this, I didn't leave that feeling like anything was inherently missing.
Yeah.
It was more punishing for sure, but I didn't feel like any of the game was missing because we played it at 4 first.
Yes. I will say one criticism, I don't love the rule book for this game.
Yeah, I don't either.
I found like there were some questions that we had that we couldn't really easily find the answers to, so we had to do a little bit of Googling.
I think a lot of the time in the rule book there'd be this little notation of like, the question we were looking for was a one-liner stuck between 2 massive images. And it's just kind of like partly our fault for maybe not fine-tooth combing it, but also like, yeah. Maybe if you're gonna do this, maybe have like a better FAQ at the end or something.
Yeah,
but
could have been just us.
Yeah, the rulebook was a bit tough, and it has box lift, and I don't know why, and it's driving me nuts.
Probably something I did. I think it's because we put the metal cars in, and they're like a little bit more beefed up, you know? We have one more game to talk about today, and that is the last game that was voted on by our Patreon community, which we don't own yet. It's on the way. Don't even worry. And that is Star Wars Villainous, which is the newest installment of Villainous. Okay, everybody knows I love Villainous. And if you have something negative to say about that, I don't care.
Poo-poo on you.
Poo-poo on you. I don't care.
For all those people that yuck our yums about Villainous, stop yucking people's yums.
It's just my favorite game.
It's our yums.
Let me love what I love. Star Wars Villainous is the new installment of the Villainous series. Of course, we have regular, Marvel, now Star Wars. This game plays very similar to the original Villainous series, except there's a few added elements. So in this version of Villainous, you have 2 new things. One is ambition tokens, so you're not just paying for things with power as you generally would.
Or credits in this.
Or credits.
In this version.
Now we have ambition. So there are certain actions that require ambition. So there's also certain actions and cards you have to play in order to collect ambition, which is not that easy to do. So in order to do some of those big swing moves, you need to have built up enough ambition in order to do it, which thematically, that kind of makes sense for villains and how power works. Like, you need to have that ambition.
I think most of the time, ambition is tied directly to your win condition.
Yes, exactly. So I played as Moff Gideon. My win condition was I had to pull poor sweet Grogu over to my side. I had to do laboratory testing on him, and I needed to have 6 ambition in order to do that. Very sad. Jeff played Kylo Ren. You probably had to have some ambition in order to achieve your goal
so
as
my
well.
goal was to go fully to the dark side. And in order to do that, I had a tracker that could be pushed and manipulated light side, neutral, dark side. And I needed ambition tokens in order to kind of manipulate that track.
And then the other added element of this is there's another slot at the end of your board for vehicles, which would be like your spaceships and stuff. And essentially, when you get a vehicle card, you can play it out. There's vehicle cards both in your Fate deck as well as in your player deck. So
good and bad.
Good and bad. So you put that out. It gives you another spot that you can move your token to, and it will allow you to do a few things, but there may also be a positive or a negative benefit or non-benefit when you move your piece there, essentially. So those are the main differences of the game. Now, overall, I would put this definitely just right below regular Villainous. Nothing's beating out regular Villainous for me. We love Star Wars. I love the added, I think it's gone up for Jeff. Love the added element of the ambition in the vehicle. And we played this at a 4-player game, which we generally don't play Villainous at 4 players. We always prefer to play it at 2. But I think it worked quite well at 4. So Jeff, what are your opinions?
Still not my ideal player count.
No.
I still would rather play Villainous at 2.
We won't be able to play it at 2 until we get it.
I just prefer I love the cutthroatness of the Fate cards at 2-player. I know a lot of people don't, but we do. Star Wars Villainous is my favorite version of Villainous, and I think I can state that pretty clearly after 1 play. I don't have any qualms in stating that. It's more complex, in my opinion, with the ambition and the vehicles. It's upped the complexity a little bit from normal Disney Villainous, and they've gone back to the roots where they, I think, in some degree with Marvel Villainous went in a direction that I didn't overly enjoy. I think they've gone back to the roots. I prefer Star Wars, keep that in mind. But I think with the ambition and the complexity of the ships, the ambition tokens, and the new win conditions, it's become my new favorite. I'm very, very excited to try the other characters. I was over the moon about this version. Yeah.
Those are the 5 games that we have for today's board game Snapshots. Baja!
Did I need to do it again?
No, it's fine.
I only do it once. It's only at the beginning. You're going to ruin the shtick.
It's a shtick that only gets done 1 time in a video.
Baja!
I hate that. I don't like to be scared. That is all that we have for you today. I'll be interested to know, or will be interested to know, if you have any opinions on any of the games that we talked about today. Have you tried them? Do you want to try them? Please let us know. But before we fully leave, as I mentioned before, we are going to be choosing the winner of Parks. Now, the winner of this game of Parks is going to be... Cool jump.
James, I don't know how to pronounce your last name. Brazil.
Like Brazil, but Brazil.
I think. Brazeal.
Yeah.
James Brazil.
James, you are the proud new owner of Parks from Keymaster Games. Congratulations.
So, James, if you are in our Discord, feel free to shoot us a private message in our Discord. If not, shoot us an email, fosterthemeeple@gmail.com. We will get this off to you ASAP. Cool. And now we need to do a new giveaway.
And now we're going to do a giveaway. Congrats, James.
Congrats, James.
We see you in the comments literally all the time. You're amazing. Our next giveaway, is it right side up, is going to be Fantasy Realms.
Wah, wah.
From WizKids. Now, this game is a game that we have played literally a jillion times. We freaking love Fantasy Realms. Don't we, Jeffrey? It is a card-based game that's pretty quick to play. You can play it at 2, you can play it at 3, you can play it at 4.
I've introduced this game to a bunch of people, and it's always been a hit.
How many people can you play this with? 3 to 6? What?
I think there's a new printing of this coming
It says
out,
3 to 6 player, but you obviously can. There is a 2-player variant in the box.
I think there's a new printing of this coming out.
What?
I think so.
Crazy.
Different artwork
Crazy
and
girl.
stuff. I could be wrong.
So if you are interested in entering the giveaway to win a copy of Fantasy Realms, what do you need to do? Number 1, you need to be subscribed to the channel. Dem's the rules. Number 2, like this video. We'll never know, but it's fun to do. And number 3, tell us what is your favorite fantasy game?
Movie.
Oh, okay. What is your favorite fantasy thing? Game, movie, TV show?
Yeah.
I want to know. Is
Yeah.
it Game of Thrones?
Lord of the Rings. If it's not Lord of the Rings, don't know what to tell you.
That's Jeff's favorite. So that is what you need to do in the comments, and we will leave this giveaway open for a couple of weeks, and hopefully it won't be that long.
Yeah, apologies
until
on this last one.
Yeah, we've been busy and stuff.
We've been busy.
Anyways, that is all that we have for you guys today, so thank you so much for watching. If you like what you see,
Please subscribe.
we hope to see you again soon. And now we say goodbye. Goodbye.
Later it is.
I'm hungry.
Achoo!
I thought that you forgot.
No,
Did you?
Delayed.
Did I surprise you?
No.
Whoa. I don't know about that,
Should
Jeff.
we redo it?
Yeah. Board game snapshots.
Pick a
Oh
winner.
my gosh.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's raining so much.
It's like Rain City out there.
Played Kitchen Rush.
Yeah.
We've played. There's a couple others that we've played that I. Oh my god, why am I not recalling them?
Me either. We're trying to like get them out of our brains. Kitchen Rush is so stressful.
There's another one we've played that I can't.
Yeah. What is it, Jeff?
Ah! I
He's
gotta
gonna
Google
have
it.
to look. You are in a Googling mood today. Yep.
For the video.
Good question, Jeffrey. YouTube Rooney.